Once upon a time, in the boundless expanse of the digital universe, a character named Bitcoin came into existence. Its birth was unlike any other. No storks involved, no baby showers, just pure code and cryptography. The father, or rather the mysterious creator of this digital entity, was Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, Satoshi is a bit like the Banksy of the crypto world. We know his work, but not his face, or her face, or their faces, who knows. Satoshi gave birth to Bitcoin in 2009, not out of a whim, but with a purpose. Tired of traditional banking systems and their pitfalls, Satoshi envisioned a decentralized financial system, one that was transparent, secure, and free from the shackles of government control. Bitcoin was to be the hero of this new system, the protagonist in the fight against financial inequality. And so Bitcoin, the virtual gold of the digital realm, was born, ready to revolutionize the world of finance. So who or what exactly is Bitcoin? Well, think of Bitcoin as a digital currency, a kind of electronic cash. It's like gold, but in a digital universe. Now, what makes Bitcoin so special, you ask? For starters, it is decentralized. That means, unlike traditional currencies, it isn't controlled by any central bank or government. It's a bit of a rebel, really. Also, Bitcoin has a finite supply. There can only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. This scarcity is part of what gives Bitcoin its value, just like gold, right? Now here's the kicker. Bitcoin doesn't need a middleman for transactions. It's like handing over a gold coin directly to someone else, but in the digital world. Furthermore, Bitcoin transactions are transparent and can be verified by anyone, thanks to a public ledger called the blockchain. Bitcoin is a rebel with a cause, a digital entity that operates on its own terms, free from the shackles of traditional financial systems. But how does Bitcoin come into existence? Through a unique process called mining, of course. Now, when you hear mining, you might be picturing hard-hatted folks with pickaxes, delving into the bowels of the earth. Well, Bitcoin mining is a bit less dusty, but equally as exciting. And instead of pickaxes, we've got powerful computers, and instead of the earth, we've got complex mathematical problems. Imagine it like this. There's a secret vault filled with digital gold, aka Bitcoin, and it's locked behind a massive mathematically crafted door. The door is made up of countless combinations, and to crack it open, you need to find the right one. That's where our Bitcoin miners come in, equipped with their high-powered computer systems. They're like the code breakers of the Second World War, but instead of decoding enemy messages, they're solving complicated math problems. So how does it work? Well, let's say a transaction is made using Bitcoin. This transaction, along with others, is bundled into a block. The miners then take this block and apply a mathematical formula to it, which turns it into a seemingly random sequence of letters and numbers known as a hash. The goal is to find a hash that starts with a specific number of zeros. But there's no shortcut to finding this. It's all about making trillions upon trillions of guesses. When a miner finally hits the jackpot and finds the right hash, the block is added to the blockchain, a public ledger of all Bitcoin transactions. And what's the reward for this Herculean task? Well, the lucky miner gets some shiny new Bitcoins. It's like finding a golden nugget in the digital river of complex calculations. But unlike traditional gold mining, the reward isn't just for the finder. It's also a way of minting new Bitcoins, adding to the overall supply. So in essence, Bitcoin miners are like digital gold miners, chipping away at complex problems in search of precious digital gold. Now let's delve into the world of Bitcoin transactions. How does one Bitcoin move from one place to another? Imagine you're sending a letter, but instead of using a postal service, you're using a network of computers called miners. These miners aren't digging in the ground, but they're digging through complex mathematical problems. When they solve one, they have the privilege of verifying your Bitcoin transaction. It's like a global game of Sudoku where the first to finish gets to stamp your letter. But before you send this letter, you need an address. In the Bitcoin universe, this address is your wallet. Picture it as a digital mailbox where only you have the key. This key, known as the private key, is vital. It's like the password to your email account. Lose it and you lose access to your Bitcoins. Now, when you're ready to send your Bitcoin, you don't actually send the Bitcoin itself. What happens is a transaction record is created stating that you're transferring the ownership of your Bitcoin. You sign this record with your private key, which is like your unique digital signature. But here's where it gets a bit tricky. To send this transaction, you need the recipient's public key. This key is like their email address. You use it to send them Bitcoins, but you can't use it to take anything from their wallet. It's a one-way street. Once you've sent off your transaction into the network, the miners get to work. They race to solve a mathematical puzzle, and the winner gets to add your transaction to the blockchain, a public ledger of all Bitcoin transactions. Once your transaction is added to the blockchain, it's final. There's no taking it back. It's like sending a letter. Once it's in the mailbox, it's out of your hands. But don't worry, with Bitcoin, there's less chance of it getting lost in the mail. So just like you'd send an email, you can send Bitcoins. Only instead of sending words, you're sending value. Now that we understand the workings of Bitcoin, let's look at the impact it has had on our world. This digital maverick has risen from a niche, techno-enthusiast experiment to a legitimate and globally recognized financial asset. Bitcoin has managed to shake up the traditional finance world, giving birth to an entirely new decentralized system. It's not just a digital currency, it's a revolution, challenging the way we've traditionally understood and conducted financial transactions. It's like that kid in the class who questions why things are the way they are, and then goes on to invent a whole new way of doing things. The potential of Bitcoin is vast, from offering financial services to the unbanked to making international transactions more efficient. Its influence continues to expand. And as we move forward, the possibilities seem endless. Indeed, Bitcoin, the digital gold of the 21st century, has not only revolutionized the financial world but has also changed the way we perceive value and trust.